Well, good morning. We're Apstrata. We're a New York City-based, self-funded startup, and this is our first public presentation of a service, and so we are really jazzed to be here. We've been working for over a year on this service, and we are now live with an alpha version on the Amazon cloud, so hopefully you can come by and take a look. We want to talk to developers, and specifically we want to talk to rich client developers. So if you are a developer developing in JavaScript or FlashFlex, or if you're writing for a mobile app environment like iPhone or BlackBerry, then we want to talk to you today. As a rich client developer, your thing is you can make user experiences sing and dance. And ideally, what you're working on and spending your time on is your app, and you're not managing plumbing, you're not managing servers. But there's a train coming down the track that's going to change some of that, and that's the real-time web. The real-time web is going to require you to put your application data in a place that's available for real-time integration with other services out on the web. And that means servers. So what are you going to do? We think you should use the Apstrata Data Hub. It's the data hub for the real-time web. And you can think of the Apstrata Data Hub as kind of a rich cloud service which complements the rich environments that are now available in browsers and on mobile apps. We've layered on a whole lot of special sauce that makes it really easy for you to integrate your app into the real-time web without having to manage dedicated or custom servers. You can store anything in the Apstrata Data Hub, including large digital files like audio and video, and it has integrated access security right down to the field level. You can get at the Data Hub from any device and any application because it's a RESTful interface. So any application on any device that can speak HTTP can get at our data service. And then the Apstrata Data Hub, you can set up automatic pushes of data once they're in the hub out to other services in kind of a webhooky type of way. And you can even publish custom APIs so that third-party apps that you don't write can push to you or pull from your data. Really easy, very powerful, no dedicated servers. Now, there's a lot of stuff in here, and what we've done is we've created a real simple demo app so we can kind of illustrate for you how this might work in practice. It's live on our website, so you can go take a look and try it out. And Ryan is going to take you through and show you how that works.
OK, let's take a look at the special sauce. Here we have a client-side JavaScript application. This is talking directly to the live Apstrata service in the cloud. When we submit our vote here on our survey, this is going to automatically push and create a new document in the Apstrata service. And then our client UI is going to pull back an aggregate query, show us the current results of the survey. But what's more interesting is if we go over to Twitter here and we refresh the page, you'll see that when that survey was submitted, our Apstrata account was actually DM'd to let us know that we had to submit. Now, I want to take a look and see a bit how that happens. Okay, in this graph, the interesting part is the script that's fired off when the document is submitted to the database. So that script is able to access the data in the database, find out who owns that survey, get their Twitter ID, and fire off the direct message using Twitter's API. Now, we've used Twitter as a very simple example because it's easy today in the real-time environment, but you could be doing something much more complex. You could be taking a video file which has been uploaded into the Apstrata Data Hub and pushing that out to encoding.com to maybe generate thumbnails or create other formats. Another important part, this script is triggered based on a data action in the hub. But this script can also be published, as Mike mentioned, as a custom API. That allows developers to go ahead and expose additional functionality than the basic Apstrata functionality that's needed for their application. That exposed script API could be a webhook receiving point, which has full access to the data in the data hub, or it could be used to create additional APIs for the rich client or third-party apps. Here on the client side, we can see very simple code, 2 lines of JavaScript. We push data in right from our HTML form with 1 line. We take it back out with 1 line of JavaScript for a query. The server-side script, again, very simple. 3 lines of JavaScript code. We can find out who owns that survey. We can get their Twitter username and use Twitter's HTTP API to push that out. You know, at Apstrata, we think that the real-time web is really going to be about live, open, dynamic data. So with a lightweight, scriptable API running on top of our data hub, which is a scalable cloud-based service, it couldn't be easier to build applications for the real-time web. Those applications are a few lines of JavaScript, they're rich client front ends, and they're running on a pay-as-you-grow managed service. No messing with servers, no messing with backups, and hopefully no messing with scalability when your application is far more successful than you thought it would be. We'd love you to come and visit us on our website. Developer.apstrata.com has additional examples, some more information, as well as some developer tools for managing your scripts and your schemas and other assets. We have this example on apstrata.com.vote. And of course, at our blog, all of our news will be coming out there. Mike said we just launched. We would love for you guys to come and join the conversation. We think the Apstrata Data Hub is going to be a critical part of the evolution of the real-time web, and we want to hear from you about that. Thanks a lot.
So is the Apstrata Data Hub open source? And if it's not, how do you deal with fears from developers of being tied to your proprietary system?
Sure. So the Data Hub itself is a service, so it's not software, so it's not itself open source. Like any service, there's an incredible value and time to market to being able to get up fast and not have to worry about deploying, managing software and servers. Of course, the idea of a lock-in exists. The important part is that's your data, and you can export that data at any time. There's no sort of proprietary metadata that's being hidden behind the scenes. Everything is open to you. That same query we showed could suck everything back out. So we're very committed to keeping an open environment, and people's data is their own data. We're just offering you the service.
I mean, I think, you're tapping into a really interesting, powerful segment. I mean, dynamic data, real-time web, there's a lot of momentum and interest in that. What I'd be curious about is how do you refine or present your marketing message so that you come across with credibility? Once you talk about data, there's a lot of concerns around security. Now, we don't have time to necessarily go into, the levels of security that you have, but I'd be curious, how do you sell an audience like this one that you're going to be able to provide 5 nines and that their data is secure?
Yeah, so being constrained to 5 minutes, you can't really touch on that. But one of the things that we actually are uniquely positioned for security. We actually are the only data store that we know about, or database, that actually has integrated security right down to the field level that the developer has control of. But we think when we get to more targeted audiences, like we might have a little bit more to say specifically about the iPhone, in a longer presentation than just the rich client. So in more extended conversations, it'll be a little bit more focused about the value add that we have for you as an iPhone developer versus you as a JavaScript developer.
I just want to add one thing. Yeah. Also, the service is running in the Amazon cloud, so we also have behind us an awful lot of very powerful and secure technology that we're working with. So we haven't invented everything from scratch.
How do you make money? And how did you choose that adorable little chickie as your logo? It's really cute, and it makes me want to use whatever you make.
So the chick's not really a logo. That was just fun
but
for
it is now.
for
Did you get the chickie's permission?
It was kind of a launch thing.
Okay.
But we kind of like the mean look in his eye. Would you ask me? How do we make money? So
Yes.
we're a pay for service. So we tend to get confused with software, but we're not software. We're a web service where you sign an account and there are tiers of use, kind of like a mobile service, and you buy in for as much activities you think you're going to do. So right now it's free. It's just alpha, but eventually we will charge for it. So the more, but it's a pay-as-you-grow thing. So the more you use, the more you pay. If you only use a little bit, there's always going to be a free tier for
What's the
developers.
measurement? What's the variable of use?
It's kind of 3 points. So we're an API, so it's API calls.
So calls, okay.
All right, file transfers and storage. Right, it's pretty simple.
Okay.
One last question.
So we've seen, in the past, MySQL acquired by, that was Sun, right? And for what you've built, who's a natural sort of acquirer, or do you really see this as, your own I mean, you've built on top of Amazon. I wonder if there's some thinking there about being acquired.
Well, we're just trying to build a business right now. We haven't thought about acquisition. I mean, it's a natural question, but the bigger companies that are going to start generating their revenue from cloud services would be a natural fit. So, Google, Amazon, somebody like that would certainly look at this. Because what we're doing is we're adding value to kind of, we're raising the, we used to have a tagline called the higher layer, which is basically, the cloud is kind of starting at infrastructure, and then we've moved up to maybe database layers. But those are the same sort of layers that you do in a normal environment. What we're doing is kind of turning the cloud into another layer of abstraction, a more powerful layer, where you don't even really need to worry about the underlying software or the underlying servers. So we think that the natural evolution of the cloud, along with the web going real time, is the cloud will move to higher layers of abstraction, and I think we're leading the charge there. So we would think that it might be attractive for some larger company to do that.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan and Michael.